Welcome to Max Premieres. Netflix originals in June are a world of their own. Adult romantic comedy, Harlan Coben thriller, K-dramas, anime, a beloved Turkish series, and the return of the month's most anticipated show. All of this drops in June, and today we rank it all from least to most impactful. Completely, honestly. Like if this list helps you figure out where to start, subscribe and let us go. Number 12, Sesame Street, Season 3. Wearing the skin of its beloved, colorful characters as always, the most consistently well-crafted show in the history of children's television is back for a new season. Sesame Street has spent decades teaching letters, numbers, and emotions with the same warmth it has always had, and this new batch of episodes maintains that unbreakable standard. For parents and grandparents who grew up with the show, watching it with their kids is a special experience that very few series allow across generations. For the little ones, it is simply the best educational entertainment available on the platform. A season perfectly designed for family weekends with content that parents will not mind watching again and again. One of those rare shows that earns its place in every household without ever needing to explain why. Sesame Street remains the gold standard of educational children's television for a reason that has never changed. It respects children's intelligence and emotions with a consistency that almost nothing else in the genre manages to maintain across decades and generations. A new season is always a cause for celebration in any household with young children. Number 11, Sweet Magnolias, Season 5. In the most ambitious season of the show so far, the three friends leave Serenity behind and face challenges that push each of them further than they have ever been pushed before. Sweet Magnolias has built its audience on the combination of warmth, genuine friendship, and storylines that feel grounded in real emotional stakes rather than manufactured drama. Season 5 expands the world of the show while keeping the relationships that made it work at the center of everything. Fans who have followed the three leads from the beginning will find payoffs here they have been waiting several seasons for. The production moved to a new stage of storytelling that feels earned rather than forced. For viewers who want comfort television that also respects their intelligence and their emotions, this is the show. Sweet Magnolias continues to demonstrate that warmth and genuine emotional stakes are not mutually exclusive, and Season 5 gives its longtime audience the payoffs they have been building toward while introducing new threads worth following into whatever comes next. Season 5 is exactly the kind of continuation that rewards fans who have invested in these characters and this world from the very beginning of the series. Number 10, Another Self, Season 3. We return to the coastal town of Ayvalık for a third season that goes deeper into the lives of a group of friends who discover that healing is not a destination, but an ongoing practice. Another Self built its following on its specific blend of Turkish landscape, spiritual themes, and emotionally honest character work, and Season 3 continues that tradition with more confidence and maturity. The story has evolved in ways that reflect how much the characters have grown, and the show rewards viewers who have been with it from the beginning. For newcomers, it is worth going back to Season 1 to understand the emotional foundation. The payoff in Season 3 is significant for those who have done the work. A series that takes its themes seriously without becoming heavy-handed about them. The show has found a genuinely global audience that responds to how different it feels from anything else currently in the drama space. A third season that earns its place as the most emotionally complete chapter of the series to date. Number 9, The Polygamist. The illusion of the perfect marriage shatters in the most unexpected and disturbing way possible. The Polygamist pulls back the curtain on a world of deception that its protagonist never saw coming, built on years of carefully constructed lies. The documentary approach gives it an immediacy and authenticity that scripted drama cannot replicate, and the access the filmmakers obtain to the people at the center of the story is remarkable. It is the kind of true crime content that goes beyond shock value to actually explore the psychology of the people involved, both those who deceived and those who were deceived. Reactions from audiences who have seen early screenings describe a documentary that is deeply unsettling and impossible to stop watching once you start. One of the more compelling true crime titles on the platform this month, The Polygamist demonstrates that the best documentary filmmaking is not just about what happened, but about why it happened and what it reveals about the systems, vulnerabilities, and human needs that allowed it to go on for as long as it did. Number 8, Viral Hit. Hoda Shimura has been the target of bullying for years and has had enough. When he discovers that fighting back on camera and posting the videos online turns him into a viral sensation, what starts as self-defense becomes something much more complicated. Viral Hit is an anime that takes the logic of internet culture and social media fame seriously, using it to explore questions about authenticity, performance, and what happens when violence becomes content. The show has built a passionate fan base that responds to how honest it is about the uglier sides of online attention. The animation style suits the kinetic energy of the fight sequences, and the writing keeps the protagonist genuinely conflicted rather than turning him into a simple hero. A genuinely original premise executed with real intelligence, Viral Hit does not offer easy answers about where self-defense ends and exploitation begins, and that ambiguity is what elevates it above similar anime that would resolve those questions too quickly and too cleanly for the story to mean anything. The anime balances its darker themes with genuine humor and visual energy that keeps every episode compelling. Number 7. Teach You a Lesson. A team of tough, no-nonsense inspectors descends on a school with a reputation for chaos, and what they find is more complicated than anyone expected. Teach You a Lesson is a comedy that earns its laughs by taking its characters seriously. The inspectors are not just obstacles for the teachers to overcome, but people with their own blind spots and unexpected qualities. The school setting gives the show an endless supply of situations that are simultaneously absurd and completely believable to anyone who has spent time in an educational institution. The ensemble cast works together with the kind of chemistry that takes time to build, and by the later episodes, it feels completely effortless. A comedy that trusts its audience and rewards that trust consistently. Teach You a Lesson demonstrates that the best comedy emerges when writers trust their characters enough to let them genuinely surprise the audience. And the best episodes here do exactly that, with impressive and consistent creative confidence. A comedy that respects its audience enough to build its laughs on character and situation, rather than relying on easy targets and predictable setups. Number 6. Office Romance. Two fierce and competitive executives are fighting for the same promotion, working in the same office, and pretending they do not both feel something more than rivalry. Office Romance is a workplace romantic comedy that knows exactly what it is and executes its formula with style and genuine wit. The chemistry between the leads is the engine that makes everything work, and the show is smart enough to build genuine obstacles rather than relying entirely on misunderstanding and miscommunication. Korean romantic comedies have refined this genre to a high art, and Office Romance sits comfortably among the better examples. For fans of the format, it is an easy recommendation. For those newer to Korean content, it is one of the more accessible entry points the genre has produced in recent years. Office Romance proves that a well-executed formula in skilled hands is always worth experiencing, and this one executes its formula with a level of wit and emotional intelligence that puts it well above most of its contemporaries in the genre. The show is also genuinely funny in its depiction of the specific absurdities of modern Korean office culture, which gives it texture beyond just the romantic storyline. Number 5. The Witness. The team from the British elite unit faces its most dangerous case yet, one that tests not just their skills, but their loyalty to each other and to the mission. The Witness is the kind of procedural that builds its tension methodically, episode by episode, until the stakes feel genuinely overwhelming. The ensemble cast is excellent, with each character given enough space to feel like a real person rather than a plot function. British crime drama has a specific quality of restraint and precision that this show shares, and audiences who appreciate that register will find plenty to enjoy here. The season ends with a resolution that is genuinely satisfying rather than setting up an obvious sequel hook. For fans of intelligent, well-constructed procedural drama, this is one of the stronger examples on the platform. The Witness earns its place as one of the more satisfying procedural dramas on the platform this month by remembering that the best genre storytelling uses its mechanics to illuminate something true about the human beings caught inside the machinery of the plot, one of the stronger genre entries on the platform this month. Number 4. Mexico 86. Diego Luna plays the man who pulled off what many consider the impossible, infiltrating one of the most powerful structures in the world to expose corruption from the inside. Mexico 86 is based on real events, and the show brings that specific moment in Mexican history to life, with a level of detail and political intelligence that sets it apart from conventional thriller storytelling. The atmosphere of paranoia and idealism that defined the period is captured with precision, and the personal cost to the protagonist is treated with real weight rather than action movie shorthand. Luna's performance anchors everything and gives the show an emotional core that keeps it grounded even when the plot becomes most intense. A politically engaged thriller that respects both its history and its audience. Mexico 86 joins a growing tradition of Latin American productions that use their specific historical and cultural context as a source of genuine storytelling richness rather than local color, and it does so with remarkable confidence and political intelligence. A politically engaged and emotionally grounded historical thriller that confirms Diego Luna as one of the most compelling actors working in Spanish-language content right now. Number 3. Little Brother. John Cena plays Rudd, a real estate agent whose perfect life quietly falls apart in ways he cannot stop or fully understand. Little Brother is a comedy drama that uses the premise as a vehicle for something more emotionally honest than the pitch suggests. A middle-aged man confronting the gap between who he planned to be and who he actually became. Cena brings unexpected depth to the role, playing against type in ways that consistently surprise. The show is at its best when it stops trying to be funny and just lets its characters sit with their discomfort, and it is smart enough to do that more often than not. Reactions from early screenings have been warmer than many expected, with particular praise for the supporting cast and the writing in the later episodes. Little Brother is a film that uses comedy as a delivery mechanism for something more emotionally complex than the genre usually allows, and the result is one of the more genuinely affecting releases on the platform this month, despite arriving with relatively modest expectations. A film that uses its comic premise to arrive at something genuinely and unexpectedly moving. Number 2. I Will Find You. A father has spent 5 years in prison for the supposed murder of his daughter, a crime he says he did not commit. When new evidence emerges, he does everything in his power to find who is really responsible and bring his family back together. I Will Find You is a thriller that works because it keeps the emotional stakes as central as the plot mechanics. The investigation is driven by grief and love rather than procedural logic alone. The pacing is deliberate without being slow, and each episode adds layers to a story that is more complex than it initially appears. For fans of thrillers that prioritize character over twists, this one delivers a satisfying balance between the two. The finale lands with real emotional weight. I Will Find You understands that the most effective thrillers are not just about what happened, but about what it cost, the people who lived through it, and it keeps that human cost at the center of every scene rather than letting plot mechanics crowd it out. The finale in particular delivers an emotional resolution that the show earns completely and that will stay with you after the credits roll. Number 1. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 2. The young Avatar and his friends venture into the vast and dangerous Earth Kingdom in search of an earthbending teacher. Avatar: The Last Airbender's second season is where the series transforms from a very good children's show into something genuinely extraordinary, a story about trauma, healing, destiny, and the cost of power that works for audiences of every age. The character arcs in this season, particularly Zuko's, are among the best in the history of animated storytelling. For anyone who started the show and is now in Season 2, you are in exactly the right place. For those who know the original animated series, the live-action adaptation has made choices that will surprise you in the best way. Season 2 delivers on the promise of the first and then raises the bar considerably. Season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender is not just a continuation, but a genuine escalation, confirming that this adaptation has found its voice and intends to use it to do justice to one of the great stories in the history of animated storytelling. The emotional payoff in Season 2 is significant and fully earned by everything that came before. That is, everything arriving in Netflix originals this June, a diverse month with something for every kind of viewer. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our next videos. Thank you for your kind support. See you in the next one.